Good morning, students. Perhaps you have seen on YouTube or elsewhere how, now that the humans are inside their homes, the wild animals have come out on the streets. I myself saw a video of deer on the streets of Haridwar, and there have been some news of bear and hippopotamus sightings. My point is, in such times, we should prepare ourselves to identify one wild animal from the other so that we know when to run and when to pop up that selfie camera. So today, we have the poem How to Tell Wild Animals by Caroline Wells. But before we begin, let's just take a cursory glance at the author's biography. Caroline Wells was born on 18th June 1862 in Rahway, New Jersey. She died on 26th March 1942 at the ripe old age of 79 in New York City. Her notable works include At the Sign of the Sphinx, The Jingle Book, Patty Fairfield, The Book of Humorous Verse, The Rubaiyat of a Motor Car, etc. Her literary feature is humor. This humor element can be found in most of her writings. Basically, they are funny in nature. Next, we will take a look at the themes of this poem. First of all, we have the identification of wild beasts. Then the poem provides some spatial identification marks for the novice animal enthusiasts. And finally, it talks about the various entertaining ways of dying to have the ultimate experience. Let us have a pictographic representation of the poem. And in this picture here, we can see a monkey, a lion, rabbit, and a crocodile. Well, maybe not all the animals can we see in here, but hey, it's a jungle we are in, and this is just the beginning. So let's first read the poem. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. Or if sometime when roaming round, a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. If strolling forth a beast you view whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain, he will only leap and leap again. If, when you're walking round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. Though to distinguish beasts of prey a novice might nonplus, the crocodile you always may tell from the hyena thus. Hyenas come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all, and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, 'tis the chameleon you see. The poem ends here. Let's also stop here for a moment and think why we should read the poem. Well, glory be to God for this world that He has created for us. Oh, sorry, did I say gory? I meant glory. Glory be to God. After all, He created all the plants, trees, and animals to serve us. And what beautiful animals He has made! Lions to sing us a roaring lullaby, tigers to eat the extra fat away and make us naturally slim, like literally bony slim, leopards to tickle us, and the bears to give us a good old bear hug. He has also created the friendly next door neighbor, the hyenas, to smile with us in glee, and crocs, not the shoe kind, the alligator kind, I mean, to whip with us when we are in pain. And for the kids among us, he has created the chameleons to play hide and seek with. It is only natural for us that we know our neighbors, our companions, till death do us part properly. This poem provides us with a scientific approach to know one of them from the other. So thoughtful of Carol. Let's have a big round of applause for her. No? Okay, moving on to the summary bit. Wild animals are confusing in their appearance. A large yellow beast can be confirmed to be a lion only with its roar. From the way another yellow beast, but with some extra black stripes on it, eats the observer, one can recognize a tiger. A leopard is different from the both in his spots on his yellow body and also the way he keeps leaping at the observer. Bears can be identified with their hugs. Hyenas and crocodiles are really confusing until one notices the smile on a hyena's face and the tears in a crocodile's eyes. However, these animals can still be seen, but if one can see nothing on a tree, then there he can be sure to identify a chameleon. Now, moving on to the tone and setting of this poem, this whole poem is a manual or a guidebook that enables any enthusiastic observer identify the wild creatures anywhere. The driving force of this poem is its humor. The quirky means unusual, weird, in an interesting way though. The quirky methods of identification is perfect and the observer may die in peace having confirmed at least one of the wild beasts with 100% assurance. That is, unless he wakes up from the dead only to be killed by another beast. In that case, he will be able to identify as many beasts as he can wake up until he turns into a beast, zombie himself. The poem, for obvious reasons, is set in a jungle, as the animals in the manual can only be found in a jungle, though it briefly moves into one's backyard even. Now let us talk about the character elements, the animals, the characters which we can find in this particular poem. Obviously, there is the Asian lion and the Bengal tiger. We have leopard, bear, hyena, crocodile, and chameleon. And obviously, there is the unfortunate but fortunate observer. Fortunate because he gets to know so many wild animals, and unfortunate because in the process he dies over and over again. Now, let us analyze the poem stanza by stanza. If ever you should go by chance to the jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. So, who wants to identify a lion beyond any doubt? Who wants to be the ultimate authority beyond grave on the topic of Asian lions? Here is your chance. All you need is to enroll for a chance walk in a jungle in the east. Many beasts you will find, but concern yourself with a big yellowish brown one. Don't worry, just wait, because he will only mangle you to a sweet death. And his joyous roar when you die will let you know beyond doubt that he is none other than the mighty Asian lion. Let's have a look at the word meanings first. East. Not just the direction east, this term indicates Asia, the continent in the east, home to the Asian lion. Advance in this poem means to move forward. Tawny is a warm sandy color, brownish orange to light brown color. And dine is a shortened form of dying. The poet makes use of poetic license to make the word rhyme with lion. Now let's say what the poet is actually telling us to do. He is telling us not to run away from a lion. Don't do this, but rather stand there while he jumps at you, leaps at you, and listen to his roar to identify that it is really an Asian lion. Moving on to the next bit. Or if sometime when roaming round, a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. First of all, a tiger is not at all a lion. They are completely different. A tiger is like a commando. It has got black stripes all over his body. Moreover, he is a noble beast, not at all unsocial like a lion shouting at you. This gentle beast simply eats you up. With your dying breath, you will finally learn the valuable lesson of letting your work speak for you. A Bengal tiger can easily be identified because of this humble nature of his. Now let's again take a look at the word meanings. Roaming means to go from one place to another without purpose or direction. Noble means famous or possessing outstanding qualities. With black stripes on a yellow ground. You see the tiger's body is compared with the ground. The ground is yellow. The tiger's skin, fur is yellow in color. and its body is striped in black. Discern means to detect or to identify as separate and distinct. Now look at this Bengal tiger. Look at the yellow ground and the black stripes. And look at those fangs. Finally, a noble beast who doesn't waste time in speaking, talking, growling, roaring. He works. That is, he eats you. Moving on to the next stanza. If strolling forth a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain, he will only leap and leap again. It seems that the yellow color is really the main reason that gets us confused so far as the wild beasts are concerned. As we walk through the jungle, we may come across another wild beast with a yellow body, but before declaring it to be another tiger or lion, just take a good look at its body. You may find it to be dotted with dark spots. True to its name, this creature will leap at you like a good old friend, and his love will be the death of you. Like, literally. Who's the creature, you ask? Oh, it's just your everyday leopard. So, simply by dying once more, you will have identified another wild beast. Let's now talk about the word meanings. Strolling, to walk in a leisurely or idle manner. Papered means to be sprinkled or covered, dotted. Leapt, actually the spelling is Leapt, to jump or spring free from the ground. This is a supreme example of poetic justice. The poet omits the letter A. Twill is the shortened version of it will. Finally, again, leap, L-E-P. The actual word is leap, L-E-A-P. Again, another example of poetic license where the poet omits the letter A. It means to jump. Now let us have a look at this leopard. Its papered skin. Yes, such a majestic beast. Now, before we start this fourth stanza, let's just stop for a moment and revise what we have learned. You see, the poem fulfills perfectly what it had set out to do. As the title indicated its purpose, how to tell wild animals, the poem has already given some of the best ways to identify some of the most fearsome beasts out there. Following such instructions may mean certain death, but the ultimate knowledge that we may gain from this easily makes up for it. At least, that's what the poet believes, perhaps. Otherwise, why would she portray such cheery death scenes for us? So now, moving on to the fourth stanza, if when you're walking round your yard you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. So who said that we need to go to jungles to see these wild animals? They are wild, I admit, but that doesn't mean that they're unsocial. Like good neighbors, they can return the visit as well. I mean, if you come back from the jungle alive, that is, uh, if you meet some good fellow in the backyard and who comes up to you and engulfs you in a big hearty bear hug, just check. He might be Balu from Mowgli, the bear himself. If you still confuse him with some long lost friend of yours, he may just give you one more squeeze to put your mind at rest. The rest in peace part, he might just throw in for free. That is, basically, he will die from the hug. Now let's talk about the word meanings. Caress. To touch or stroke lightly in a loving or endearing manner, like she caressed the baby's cheek. Bear hug. A bear hug is a rather rough, tight, and affectionate hug when coming from another human being. But when it comes from a literal bear, it may carry the added significance of hug till you die and till death do us part kind of love and affection. That is, you will die from his hug and then he will leave you. Let's have a look at this particular bear. Yes, he is, I think, in somebody's backyard or wherever, but look at those big arms already ready. See how he looks at you? Yeah, I won't like to be in his big old bear hug. I don't know about you. Moving on to the next part. Though to distinguish beasts of prey a novice might nonplus, the crocodile you always may tell from the hyena thus. Hyenas come with merry smiles, but if they weep, they're crocodiles. So the poet now takes the novice, the inexperienced, into account. You see, the beasts of prey that we have discussed so far, we may be confused to identify them. But a hyena can easily be identified from a crocodile. How? Um, you see, perhaps the novice may mistake and overlook the fact that one comes from the land and the other from water. He may even neglect the trawling or the scales. He may simply confuse their looks. Maybe they are a part of some go as you like competition. As you know, people come up to these competitions dressed as somebody else. So the hyena and crocodile, well, they may dress up like somebody else. One thing will never change. But he may identify a hyena with his smile and a crocodile from his tears. So you see, some things they don't change, and that's lucky for the observer. Now let us talk about the word meanings. Distinguish, to mark as separate or different. Novice means beginner or a newbie. Nonplus, a state of bafflement or confusion. Smile like a hyena is a simile, it means to laugh hysterically. Crocodile's tears is an idiom which means insincere or hypocritical display of grief pretending to be upset or sorrowful. Now let us talk about the final stanza. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon you see. If we are talking about the animals in our backyard coming towards us, how can we forget chameleon? After all, they are the closest wild animals we have to our friendly, homely lizards. Chameleons have neither ears nor wings, so says the poet, but he has one great thing, the ability to camouflage. A chameleon can adapt its body color to the surface it's on and thus hide in plain sight. So the poet finally warns all the nature lovers out there that if there is nothing on a tree, for example, there must be a chameleon hiding. Basically, an animal for every place. Now let's talk about the word meanings and we shall look at one of the proverbs. Chameleon. It's a reptile, obviously, and it is a carnivorous animal. The chameleon in the wild lives on an average for 12 years and it can grow up to 21 inches and weigh up to 14.4 ounces. Chameleons that hang out in trees are usually green in color. Those that live in deserts are mostly brown. Now let's have a look at this proverb. People are like chameleons. Circumstances make them change their color. So yes, people, this is a very bleak view of people that people are not at all constant and they change their colors, they change their faces, they change their appearance, mentality, emotions, just as the circumstance. They can change themselves to fit any circumstance and thus survive. Now let us talk about the forms and figures in this poem. First of all, allusion. A passing comment briefly and indirectly referring to a person, place, thing, or some idea. For example, Asian lion and Bengal tiger alludes to their places of origin, that is, Asia and Bengal respectively. Next is inversion. It is the reversal of natural word sequence in a sentence, as in the line, and if there should to you advance, or this simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. You see, for example, the second sentence, the actual order should have been this simple rule may help you learn to discern the Bengal tiger. But this grammatical sequence has been reversed by the poet to rhyme. So this is called inversion. And there is ellipsis. It is the use of three dots in a sentence indicating a half finished thought or a pause or silence, as in, you will know it is the Asian lion, and then there comes three dots, as if the poet is taking a pause, maybe to mourn, maybe for that 1 minute's silence as she contemplates our death in the hands or in the paws of the Asian lion. Next, we have alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of same consonant sounds at the beginning of the words in close succession, as in roaming round, tiger 2, novice might non plus, etc. We also have assonance, the repetition of same vowel sounds in close succession, as in the E sound in if he eats you, beast greets, O and U sound in strolling forth, do, no, good, to roar, etc. Next we have basic repetition, repeating the same word simultaneously as in lip and lip to add emphasis to the action or sentiment, that is the leaping of the leopard. Next we have consonance. Consonance is quite like alliteration. It is the repetition of the same consonant sounds in close succession. But unlike alliteration, where the repetition must be at the beginning of each word, here it may be repeated anywhere in the words. For example, the t sound in beast greets, s sound in as soon as, m sound in come with merry smiles, etc. Now let's talk about the rhyme scheme. The poem follows A B C rhyme scheme where the first line rhymes with the third and the second with the fourth. Fifth and sixth lines rhyme with each other in every verse stanza. Chance rhymes with advance and east rhymes with beast, while the variation dine rhymes loosely with lion. This can be seen in all other verse stanzas here. Finally, let's talk about enjambment. When one line runs into the next line without any break or punctuation, just as the final two lines in both the first and second stanza, and also in the fourth stanza. Finally, there is poetic license, the permission given to a poet or writer to make necessary violations of grammatical rules or facts to make a story or poem more interesting or effective. For example, lip is the shortened form of leap, done so to make it rhyme with the first syllable lip in Lippard, and also to suggest a leaping movement by jumping over and skipping the alphabet A in leap. Dine has been shortened to dine to make it rhyme loosely with lion in the next line. Finally, nonplus is a word which is used in the passive form like to be nonplussed. However, the poet has taken the liberty here to keep it nonplus again to rhyme with does and thus maintain the rhyme scheme. Next, we will talk about humor, the literary style. Humor is a literary device to make the audience laugh and relax mainly through some fun or amusement. Carolyn Wells achieves this superbly in her poem. The very tone which she assumes is humorous. She sets out to provide a guideline to identify wild animals, but her list turns out to be highly impractical, though completely effective. She makes use of idioms, similes, or phrases like bear hug, crocodile steer, chameleon nature, etc. to generate this humor out of the English language itself. Finally, let's talk about the title. The poem gives a comprehensive list of how to identify wild animals. The poet doesn't digress from her stated mission, and we learn how to easily identify the animals with a minor cost of our own lives. Since the title clearly indicates the purpose of this poem, How to Tell Wild Animals, as the title is perfect. Here we end this session. Thank you.